Go Soup.
Hey, I'm C20. I'm joined by Rain Chocolate for this match. Sia Kids versus the Charlatans. In red, Sia Kids have gone mostly at 0 with their Tempest and with their Sunesis, and they're at about 20 kilometers away with their other ships. So very aggressive warp-ins here. They have the Tempest, Osprey, Hurricane, Sunesis, and the Condor.
The Charlatans playing it a little bit safe, warping their entire fleet at 50 with the Dami, Prophecy, Blackbird, Thalia, and Dragoon. And the match has now commenced.
Yeah, so the Dominix is a ship that we didn't actually see in the carpet, has been reworked. It's now an armor, kind of like a Hyperion Armageddon hybrid. It's got the MJD and it's got the active tank like the Hyperion. Of course, it doesn't quite tank as much as a Hyperion. It doesn't do as much damage as a Hyperion, but it does have Smart Bomb and a few newts, and it does have a micro jump drive, so it can be a deadly threat. It would be interesting to see what happens with this Thalia here.
Yeah, so the Thalia, Blackbird, and the Dragoon are actually all pulling away. This Dominix is sort of acting as a screen, catching that Sunesis as it was coming in. However, the Sia Kids Tempest has just kind of looks like what coasted right by the Dominix, heading directly for that Blackbird.
Yeah, we are seeing damage on the Osprey now, and he's got a new effect, and the Dominix has got a grappler on him. It is a long-range grappler, but because the Osprey only has a afterburner, the Dominix should be able to catch up to him. Dominix is taking some damage now too. Interesting to see where the damage goes first.
Well, the Dominix also has to be careful because the Thalia being a frigate, also having smaller reps, well, definitely has to be within its optimal range, which is only like 20 or 30 kilometers. So he has to be very situationally placed and situationally aware of what his team is doing. So the Charlatans can't just go like crazy while chasing after the Sia Kids. It has to be very careful to make sure they're always in range of that Thalia, or they could get caught out and easily killed.
Yeah, so the Dragoon of Hans Eisenberg has just caught and webbed that Osprey of Sabu, and he's down. No more logistics on the Sia Kids side.
Yeah, so Sia Kids had to try and make a trade for that because obviously with the Thalia still on the Charlatan side, they're not going to survive for very long, especially against a team that still has that logistics. It looks like they are going for that Dominix, who does seem to be pretty out of range of that Thalia. Thalia looks like it's moving in back towards him to try and catch him with some reps.
Yeah, the Dominix does have an ancillary rep though, so he will be able to get some reps by himself for some time. They're going to have to probably burn through the charges before they're able to kill him. The other annoying thing too is now that the Osprey is dead, they can spread the jams between more DPS ships, and the DPS is going to be even more disrupted. We've seen damage on the Blackbird now too. Some damage still sticking on the Dominix. I assume it's because the Tempest is on top of him. They would really want to get rid of this Blackbird, I think. I think if they can kill the Blackbird without losing the Tempest, they might be able to start trading back. Dominix is getting pretty low, though. He's half armor. I don't think the Thalia's going to be able to keep him up.
Yeah, so the Thalia is going to have to make a judgment call here because it looks like the Sunesis and the Condor have went in and tackled that Blackbird. So the Thalia has to decide, does he save the Dominix or does he save the Blackbird? Or is it even possible for him to save both? So it looks like that... Oh, Condor now down too. It looks like that actually got caught out and destroyed from the Sia Kids side. Although the Dami is still dropping low. Same with the Tempest, it's already in armor.
Yeah, I think he was sitting on the Blackbird, and so he got attacked or killed to get him off. It looks like the Sunesis still has the Blackbird, though, although it's not tackling it right now, even though he's on it. Maybe he burned out his tackle mod, or maybe he got neutered by the Dominix or something. Tempest now dangerously low into structure. I think if thing's definitely going to go down before the Dominix goes down, and I think this might be it for Sia Kids. They're going to, Sia out of the arena.
Yeah, that all they have left now for really any substantial DPS is that Hurricane, who I believe was actually probably looks like on the Dominix. Yeah, he was initially going for the Dominix, but now he's caught out by both the Prophecy as well as it looks like that Dragoon. The Dragoon ended up, yeah, so the Dragoon going after that Hurricane, keeping him probably away from that Dominix to help it survive just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to kill anything now. They might need to swap onto this Black, but the Dominix is still taking some damage, but he should be able to tank a Hurricane, I think, on his large ancillary by himself as the Sunesis goes down.
Yeah, this Thalia catching or giving reps to that Blackbird. The Dominix seems to be doing fine on his own. It doesn't look like the Thalia is repping him at all. So the Dami having that self-rep definitely makes him viable in this. And it obviously is not taking any more damage, it looks like, from this Hurricane.
Yeah, we didn't really see the Thalia too much in this match. It wasn't really a key piece. It looked more like it was just kind of in the back and doing its own thing, while the other ships were sort of the main threats.
Well, that's also a good point though, because the Thalia, while it may not be able to give a lot of reps or, can be easily killed, some people overlook that. They underestimate these logistics frigates, which is a huge mistake. Now this Hurricane's dying with its brand new headhunter skin, which are now out on tranquility and beautiful as ever. The Charlatans taking that match with a dominating victory.
Yeah, with that, I guess we'll send it back to Ithaca in the studio.
Hi guys, welcome back. That is the Charlatans taking a dominating victory there over the CA Kids. With that, 2 dominating victories already to start the season is an exciting way to go for sure. And one of them blue, one of them red. Bait, you must be pleased with that.
It's a nice start. One of the most difficult things, obviously, about the banning tool is managing to balance it so that because the classes are different, it's very hard to get a good solid balance so that both teams feel like they're able to have kind of unique picks and have an opportunity to win, obviously. So that's quite tricky. It's a big concern for us in terms of balancing. And it's something we've been pretty happy with so far. The results of the first season and the second season were precisely 50% red and 50% blue wins for both, which is kind of a bit of a fluke, but yeah, it was really good. So yeah, hopefully we see that continue. At some point in the future, probably we would like to change the banning format, but so far I've been pretty happy with it. And yeah, I'm glad that so far it's 50-50.
Yeah, so season 1, 50-50, season 2, 50-50. So far, season 3, also 50-50. The only thing that throws the 50-50 balance out, of course, is the Cup this season, which went 13 to blue, 17 to red, which is still, to be honest, still pretty fairly balanced. So I don't see any major needs to make any changes so far going into the season. Although there was a couple of ships that were changed between the Cup and the start of this league. So Tony, can you give me a quick rundown maybe of what those ships were?
Okay, so we nerfed the Hyperion Griffin and Scorpion slightly by just, downgrading some of the modules on the ships. It didn't actually change the fits themselves, just made the fits a bit more suboptimal, like changed like a energized adaptive on the Hyperion to adaptive nanoplating, just to lower them a bit because those ships seemed incredibly dominant. And then we just boosted a few other ships. We had to change some ships anyway because of the Lifeblood expansion. The Arbitrator, Bellicose, etc., like an Omen, ships that got buffs in the patch. It didn't really make sense to leave them as they were. And then we also changed the Dominix and the Raven, because the Raven didn't see much use and the Dominix didn't see any use. And the Dominix is now sort of a hybrid between Armageddon and Hyperion in terms of kind of what it does. And we just saw the Dominix and it's being picked again, actually.
Yeah, the thing I like about the addition of the Texio Logistic frigates is it really blows open the pick band. So if anyone watched the previous 2 seasons, it got quite predictable. If you were blue, you banned one of each logistics ship, so armor and a shield ship, and then your opponent gets the first frigate pick. So you wait for them to choose. If they choose shield, then you get the first cruiser pick. So then you pick up the only remaining shield logistics cruiser, which means they have an off meta frigate, or they have to go for something a little bit tricky, or they have to pick up one of those Tech 1 logistics frigates, which, as Tony said, we didn't see much use of. The teams that do tend to make use of logistics frigates tend to be the Russian teams for some reason. We saw that in the Alliance tournament. We saw that last season with a couple of Russian teams being the only teams to use the Tech 1 logistics frigates. This season, we've already seen a non-Russian team use it. I expect as soon as the Russian teams saw that the logistics frigates were available in Tech 2 form, they were clapping their hands together with Russian glee and pounding that vodka ready to go. But it is time to move on to the next match. So let's just pop the bands up there for that one, and that's going to be Tempest, the winner of the EVE Antique Cup, going up against Diametrically Opposed. Now, one of the interesting things about this picks and bans, which I'm going to throw to Satonia and Rain in just a moment, is, as far as I can tell, this is one of the first matches last season and the Cup where the Hyperion was available but not picked. Satonia, what do you make of that?
Well, it did get slightly nerfed between the Cup and now in the minor league. They've actually, what's interesting is that the Hyperion wasn't banned and Templars actually picked up the Dominics. They're actually favoring the Dominics over the Hyperion now, which is quite interesting.
So, Rain, why don't you just run us through the teams have actually gone for here in terms of picks and bans?
I'll go with picks first. So Templates have the Rifter for that heavy, or not heavy tackle, light tackle. The Algos with its drone uses, the Augur, which has smaller reps, and I know it's not as popular as the Executor, and then the Prophecy and the Dami, which Sutonia touched on. And then Diametrically Opposed pick the Atron, the Dragoon, the Executor, the Brutix, and the Megathron.
So Tempest are choosing to ban the Blackbird, and then Diametrically Opposed banning the Scorpion. Both teams saying no ECM. And after what we just saw, is the Blackbird or ECM in general strong in this particular format, Sutonia?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty strong. We've definitely seen the Blackbird, a ship that didn't see any use. Well, I think it got picked like two or three times last season. Suddenly become much stronger with the addition of Tech 2 Logifrigs, because now if you pick the Blackbird, you don't have to sacrifice the support cruiser. We did nerf the Scorpion and Griffin, as mentioned, just because even though, well, they seem quite dominant, and also ECM is not very fun, so I'd rather nerf them. But it looks like, with the Scorpion ban, maybe Diametrically Opposed are still trying to counter it. It might also be that because they were also in the EVE Cup, Templates were one of the teams that actually picked the Scorpion quite a lot. So maybe they've, been studying.
So you mentioned ECM mechanics there, implying that they are not fun and engaging. Is that something you would stand by? That ECM is not one of the most balanced parts of this game that we play EVE Online?
I'd go with the slogan "balanced but not fun."
Okay, so the Griffin has racial jammers, as does the Blackbird, but the Scorpion has multispectrals. Can you maybe explain to people why that's important, especially in if you were facing something like a Griffin, you could maybe counter picking a monoracial comp?
Yeah, so the Griffin is obviously going to be the first pick or the second pick for a team, and both the Griffin and Blackbird, they have one of each racial jammer. So from that point on, you can look at your team and you have options. So the first thing you can do is you can just pick all of the same race. So if you, let's just say, I don't know, maybe you had an Atron and Dragoon, for example, in the Diametrically Opposed team, and let's just say, I don't know, Templars pick the Griffin instead of the Rifter. What you could then do is you then pick like all Galantia or Amar for the rest of your ships, and you try to make the battle cruiser and battleship the same race as much as possible, especially if it can be the same race as your logistics cruiser, because then that one racial jammer, the Galanti ratio, has to be split between Executioner, Brutix, Megaphon, and the other racial jammers like the Kadari and the Mimitar jammer are much less effective. You can also opt to pick up either the Hurricane if you're shield or the Harbinger if you're armor. Both of those ships have information links, which can also give you a sensor strength boost.
Nice. So, Rain, looks like what we've got here is kind of a brawly comp versus what looks to be a bit more of a kitey comp with a rail Brutix and a rail Mega. What do Diametrically Opposed here have to do in order to beat this Templars team?
I mean, if they want to kite, obviously they just don't get caught, which sounds a little easier than it actually is, because obviously, I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it. But so obviously they want to take out the Rifter being the tackle as well as that Prophecy. But we saw in the first match, obviously a Prophecy is not the easiest thing in the world to kill. So they have to be pretty careful keeping their Executor safe. The Dragoon should hopefully help with that, because the Dragoon has newts, but I don't believe counts as an E-War pick. And then so then for the other team, Templars, they just kind of have to get in there, maybe catch something out, or wait till Diametrically Opposed makes a mistake, and then they got to capitalize on it.
So it looks like what they were going for here is this Atron to go go in and tackle and hold down these ships like the big ships here, the Prophecy and Dominic's. Now, I think the Atron maybe has almost been countered by this Prophecy Dominic's pick, because if they'd gone, for example, something like maybe a Harbinger and a Hyperion even, say, then that Atron with his Afterburner can get in around that Hyperion, and it's very, very hard to remove it again. And if you're a kiting team, that's ideal. Basically, you pin down their big brutal Hyperion, and then you just kite away, shooting it from range, and it can't do anything. It's very difficult to remove that Atron. You have to have your small stuff come in, and if that Executor can get somewhat near and keep it alive while it sig tanks away, then you're in a really strong position. You have to waste a lot of time as Templars getting rid of that Atron before you can really start chasing down the diametrically opposed team, and while you're doing that, they're applying all their damage to you. So I'm wondering if maybe Templars saw that Atron, saw its capabilities, and picked up the Prophecy and the Dominics, because it is a lot harder to pin down with that Atron. The Prophecy, of course, could just launch a set of lights, so could the Dominics, and the Dominics also has those 2 heavy newts. So very much utility based. So definitely an option for them. I mean, I see, I'm just looking at Twitch comments just now. We do read them. I see Mr. Elise Randolph is incredibly pleased that the Raven has been banned. I know he's now sitting in the back smiling away, because when he proposed the Raven fit, we all told him it was absolute garbage. So he went away and he fixed it and made it better, and now our team has banned it, meaning they see it as a threat, and now he is very happy. So Tonya, what changes happened to the Raven? Why was it so terrible before?
Well, the Raven didn't have any damage mods on it before. It uses rapid heavies. The reason why it didn't have any damage mods is because I believe we wanted to be very careful with it, because in EVNT Fight Club, which is it's a format that Bay Archie made, which is kind of exactly the same as this format almost, except there wasn't a banning tool at that point. I think the bans were all manual. But there was a rapid heavy Typhoon in that format, and I believe it was the most picked and banned ship by a long way. So wanted to be really careful with it. We dropped 2 nanos on it, and now added 2 ballistic control units. Not quite the 3 I think that the old Typhoon used to have. So hopefully it will be, and it doesn't have the drone bay of the Typhoon 2. So hopefully I think it'll be a viable pick. It's a lot slower too, because we killed both of the nanos on it, so it should get cool a lot more as the trade-off.
Yeah, one of the things as well about the Raven is it actually gets a bonus, if I remember correctly, to its missile firing speed. So it runs through that clip, that rapid heavy missile clip, much quicker to get its higher DPS. It's not just a flat damage bonus. Its bonus is based on how fast it fires its missile, so it hits reload a lot faster than other rapid heavy ships. And that is hitting reloads and reloading your missiles, not the streamer and creator of Zkill guides. Now, I'm going to do a quick round the horn here and see what we think for this match. I think this is going to be a very exciting match. I personally think I'm going to put my money on Templates here. What do we think, Rain? What are you going for?
I'll go for diametrically opposed.
Tonya?
It's going to be a very difficult match, I think. It's really equal. I think I'll go with Templates just because they were the winners of the EVNT Cup.
So 2 for Templates, 1 for diametrically opposed. Basilisk, are you going to round it out, or are you going to go with Templates as well?
I'm going to go with Templates as well, I think.
So 3 for Templates, 1 for diametrically opposed. Let's go to the arena with the commentators Rain and Satonia and see just how much we all pretend to know.